Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV, Alternative Media Television. We have breaking news for you. Breaking news that we actually predicted several weeks ago with 100% accuracy on April 29th, 2018. Of course, today it is May 24th, so it's been almost a month. And Alex, I'm going to have you cue this video up because the general public typically has what I like to call short-term memory loss. They forget what people told them a day ago. I mean, honestly, the propaganda is so intense now, courtesy of the mainstream media. People will literally forget yesterday's news, sometimes today's news, in just a couple of hours, if not a couple of minutes, because again, that is the propaganda network that makes up the criminal cartel of Netflix, which just signed a massive deal with Barack Obama and his wife to totally liberalize the entire platform into a propaganda web of bullshit. And not to mention the criminal news network, CNN, MSNBC, and even the alleged conservative network, Faux News, which does a decent job, and I like Hannity and these guys. You know, they're okay, but they're really just taking out of the playbook of alternative media television and some of our competitors. So about almost a month ago, I came out with a video, and I tweeted this earlier, that it becomes exhausting, honestly, and a little bit irritating how right we are all the time. In the face of so much adversity and in the face of so much cynicism and criticism, it becomes a little exhausting being this correct all the time. And so I'll have Alex cue this up, but just about a month ago, a couple of weeks ago when we were out on the vineyard, I was shooting a lot of our Bitcoin Rich courses, something else we've been 100% right about. It's what's made me a millionaire today, is investing in Bitcoin a very long time ago. I put out a video titled North Korea Fake Peace Deal. North Korea Fake Peace Deal. World War III about to break out. Now, this was when the mainstream media was telling the general public that we had arrived at peace. That's what Anderson Cooper said. That's what Don Lemon said. That's what Wolfie Blitzer with his sexy little beard said. Oh, the peace had been achieved. And I said, no, it's a lie. It's a fabrication. It's a fake peace deal. It's going to blow up, literally, and World War III is here. And it's so funny, all the cynicism, all the criticism. Oh no, peace has been achieved, Christopher. I saw fat-ass Kim Jong-un holding the hand of the South Korean president crossing the dividing line. And since Anderson Cooper told me that peace has been achieved, I believe him. And I don't believe you. In fact, I'm looking at some of the comments here. One of them was something like, man, this channel has turned into a joke. A joke that is 100% accurate and correct. 99.999999% of the time. We've been correct about the war in Syria before it even happened. We've been correct about the strikes before they even happened. 2 strikes now, courtesy of Donald Trump, 1 of Israel. Chad called that one. We've been right about the 2008-2009 financial crash. We're right about the coming financial crash. And we're right about World War III. As of today, and I'm going to play this video in a minute, May 24, 2018, the U.S. military prepares to strike Kim Jong-un and the regime of North Korea, just like we told you they would. Just like there was an engineered ouster of Muammar Gaddafi and an internal directive to assassinate that leader. Just like there was an agenda to rid the Middle East of Saddam Hussein, roil this entire land, destroy sovereign nations, and as a result, exterminate millions of people in this part of the world. You see, folks, the agenda has not changed at all. And so now, breaking headline news, because we know that the masses will only believe the mainstream media. If you go to the mainstream media today, we'll pick CNBC as an example. Their top article is Trump says U.S. military is ready to attack. Kim Jong-un summit cancellation, just like I predicted about almost a month ago. And people laughed. People said, no, it wasn't going to happen. They believe the lies, the media manipulation, the propaganda. It is outstanding. So, yes, I'm tooting our own horn a little bit today because it's justified and because our reporting has been spot on and 100% accurate. So to remind all of you out there and the general public, not you tuning in because I know I'm speaking to the choir, but the general public of what we said, what I said, literally, just a couple of weeks ago, to much fanfare and disgust of the general public, which turned out to be 100% correct. Let's go to that clip now where, again, let me repeat the title. I say exactly that North Korea is a fake peace deal and World War III is about to break out. And all this is media manipulation, propaganda, and it will turn into war. Let's go to that clip right now.
North Korean situation is boiling out of control. It is more dangerous now, in my humble opinion, than it is and or was a couple of months ago. Now, this is conflicting with what the mainstream media is giving you, because of course the mainstream media is constantly lying to you. It's one of the reasons I'm out here in the beautiful country, because I practice what I preach, and I am very concerned and very worried about what's going on politically at this very moment in time. So, this is the true story. This is what's really going on. These leaders are feigning peace before the outbreak of war. That's what's happening. It's what I would do if I was global leadership. It's what Trump is doing. He's already warning the American public that it's probably not going to work out, that he's going to meet with Kim Jong-un in a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of days in these secret meetings, and then it's not going to work out. The talks are going to fall through. Now look, all we have to do as thinking individuals, thinking people, is understand the sheer fact. Look at history. Look at Hitler was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize before the outbreak of World War II, before millions and millions of people were slaughtered and bombs were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. He was meeting with diplomats prior to the outbreak of war. So the same thing is happening now. History is repeating once again. And we're living through this, and it's amazing how manipulative and through this psychological warfare and propaganda, the media a couple of months ago, not me, the media a couple of months ago said we were on the edge of nuclear war. All of these nuclear tests taking place, all of these bombs being dropped, Kim Jong-un war of words, the Twitter hyperbolic hysteria all over the media. And you're telling me now, just because little pudgy Kim Jong-un is shaking hands and holding hands over the line of North and South Korea, that suddenly everything's okay? No, it's a lie. It's incredibly manipulative, and honestly, I'm more fearful now than I was a couple of months ago, because when the mainstream media tells me there's peace, I know war is about to break out.
Okay,
when they
so
tell
let's
me that
cut it right there.
about...
So I mean, that is just absolutely astonishing. And as I always say, kind of candidly and jokingly, I'll wait for the apologies from all of those of these armchair commentators that love to jockey comment and criticize and all these kinds of things when, again, we're proven 100% correct. So I'll give at least a little bit of a silent moment here to wait for any apologies from any of you out there that didn't believe what I was telling you originally just a couple of weeks ago. Now, which is just 100% factual, because, again, I know how Donald Trump thinks. I think just like he does. And I know what the agenda of the swamp is. I know what the agenda, not necessarily of what Donald Trump's agenda is, but I know the agenda of the dark state. And the agenda, you see, the smartest people in the world know this. The smartest people in the world know that the entire geopolitical landscape is in a crisis, that we are on the edge of a cliff. This is a giant reset, and it's why Silicon Valley billionaires, and I'm not a billionaire, but I'll lump myself in here, myself included, have backup plans. It's why I have land, real estate, supplies, food, water, and places to go with my family and friends if needed when all of this goes to hell in a handbasket. In fact, Kim.com just spoke to this. A very, very wealthy man and one of the smartest people on planet Earth said pretty much just what I just told you yesterday in an article out of New Zealand where he basically just spoke to the fact that, again, all the smart money is escaping the United States. They realize that World War III is already here. It is a reality. And the old financial system is not sustainable. Those were pretty much his exact words, which is exactly why we've taken necessary preparations here at Alternative Media Television. And by the way, I bought more Bitcoin earlier this morning for those of you that are interested. Bought more as a part of my strategy. It's funny. I actually typically buy more cryptocurrencies when the general public is negative on it. It's funny. I think I got a couple emails earlier. People were like, "Oh, Christopher, the prices are really down. Like, that must hurt." I actually buy on days like that because it's a contrarian indicator. And the 99.9% of the general population is a friggin' idiot. And that's just reality, and it's the truth. It's the reason why 0.0001% of the general population controls all the wealth, because the rest of the majority of the masses of the sheeple with their heads buried in the sand literally believe hook, line, and sinker whatever these lying scumbags tell them directly to their faces. And that's how I knew when CNN and MSNBC, Fox News, and the rest of the scumbags told me that there was an alleged peace deal. I knew it was a lie. I knew it was bullshit. And I started to take more aggressive action in my own personal preparations, of which we could not be more right about today, and of which Trump is now warning. So I want you to take this now and understand what I'm telling you now. From a guy who no one typically believes what I say, who told you that the fake peace deal would erupt and implode in on itself, and it was more dangerous then than it was a couple of months ago. Now I'm telling you, now, today, and I'll do this in another month, after the strikes, Donald Trump and this elitist dark state plan to eradicate Kim Jong-un, take out his entire regime, and launch and start a new world war. People ask me, "Christopher, why do you yell?" Because I've got to wake up the dumbed down sheep. I've got to wake these people up because they've got their head in the sand. So wake up. All right. Now that I've gotten that out of my system and blown everybody's eardrums out, including myself, I hope you understand the gravity of what I'm telling you. I'm not kidding around. It's not a sales pitch. Take preparations. Okay, before this broadcast, I was speaking with the guys saying, geez, I think I'm going to buy more food storage today. And by the way, we've got a special on it. It's 25% off. A freaking fire sale on the 60-day. Free shipping on 6 and 12 months. Do not wait, because I'm going to sell out of it today, because as usual, everybody sits on their ass believing that this shit can't happen, and then last minute, they ransack my store, just like everybody else is. So yes, I'm angry today. I am pissed off. I am very upset because I know what's coming, and I worry about my children. I worry about you tuning in because I really do give a shit about you. And that's a clear-cut difference from most people out there. You can't fake those emotions and that feeling and that rawness. I've been doing this for 10 years, and everything I've ever said is the truth. It's what I have discovered and uncovered through my research and my personal experience and having worked for major Fortune 500 companies and Wall Street institutions like Merrill Lynch, etc. And what we have, folks, and by the way, gold spiked tremendously today. Another thing I recommend and have been recommending for over 10 years, gold and silver, and personally own. And the same with Bitcoin, because these are hedges against what's coming. And anyone with a thinking, critical brain would understand that. And those that are dumb, don't. I'm not going to sugarcoat it today. If you're an idiot, you don't understand what I'm saying. If you're smart, you get it. Okay, so I'm going to actually go to Chad Booksam here and save my voice a little bit to have him, just weigh in his thoughts. Again, it is astonishing how accurate our reporting continues to be, how deadly it is. And it's funny, people, they go, oh, no, CNN told me the opposite, Christopher. So, as if CNN dictates public opinion. I guess they do in retirement homes and airports. No one's really watching anymore. It's why they're trying to extinguish alternative media and all these kinds of things. Chad, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
All right. So, yeah, I'm a little riled up today. So maybe you can bring in some level-headedness to the conversation. But, look, I'm not going to fake anything. I never do. I'm going to just tell you like it is from the gut. That's why our tagline is hard-hitting and in your face. Give me your thoughts as Trump prepares to strike North Korea.
Sure, no, and I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. Look, we have to look at the economy, look at the debt. People have to understand that we're in World War III because of a couple things. After 9/11, first of all, the supposed war on terror cost us a 2.6 to 5.6 trillion. It's much more than that. We're $20 trillion in debt. It's a huge illusion. Our whole economy is a huge illusion. That's why we're in the Middle East to collect all these resources, the oil, the territory. We destroyed the entire Middle East, okay, to collect all the resources. And again, we could be at $20 trillion in debt, 40 trillion, 60 trillion. It doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is we're going to keep going after these areas in order to get all of these resources, because the dollar is an illusion. So now we destroyed the Middle East. What did Obama say? That he's going to pivot to Asia, right? Then what did China do? China started building up their man-made military islands to protect the resources in the South China Sea. And now you have a huge China, almost double the military. They're going to double their navy, align with North Korea. We always knew that this was going to be a fake peace deal. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, he was at an Air Force Academy graduation telling them to prepare for war, telling 984 of his Air Force lieutenants, new lieutenants, to prepare for war. And this is exactly what's going to happen. It was never about Trump. Chris, you've said this time and time again. No matter who's the president, it's always the same deep state policies, from Bush to Obama. Kim Jong-un, the North Korean regime, is obviously a target. They see, and I don't even know if it was America who canceled the deal, or if it was China and North Korea playing games with us, and Donald Trump just kind of sent this out to kind of get it out there, right? We don't know exactly, but at the end of the day, we know that the military exercises are continuing off the coast of the Korean Peninsula. They never stopped. And it's a rehearsal for what? It's not a rehearsal for peace. It's a rehearsal for invasion.
Yeah. And so those are great points. And this is what people need to understand. Both Trump, the U.S. dark state, and the North Korean regime were in on it. See, they both understand war is here already. I mean, the world war is the U.S. versus China, Russia, Iran, and the proxy that is North Korea. So what their agenda was, in fact, they're in on this kind of negotiation together. They had to feign peace as if there was an attempt of a negotiation, even knowing it was, just a lie and bullshit. It was obviously going to fail. So then when the war does break out, at least they can say they tried, right? Before we see the atrocity of potentially, God forbid, millions of more people slaughtered as was a result, and the actual facts of World War I and World War II.
Absolutely. And look, again, look at the economy. Look at our debt. It doesn't matter how much further we get in debt, because they know, the dark state knows, war is on the table. They're going after everybody and every resource. They know our financial institutions is an illusion and it's going to collapse. This is why this is why we destroyed the Middle East. This is why now we're going to go in Asia and do the things that we're going to do there. And absolutely, China sees this. I find it interesting, because we are in the middle of World War III. Do you know that even with these sonic attacks that would happening to some of the U.S. Officials in the U.S. consulate in China, which just occurred not too long ago, the same thing happened in Cuba. You know what's really interesting is the weapons that we're going to see used, okay, in this war is going to be completely different than we've ever seen before. People have no idea what's coming, Chris. Mm-hmm. They have no idea. They're so used to these old conventional ways of war. China's military, their entire economy has been building up their military, has been investing in hypersonic missiles, hypersonic jets, and all of this technology, because they feel, okay, because, America thinks that, everybody thinks that no one could touch America. Look, we are very strong, and it's good to be very strong. But everybody thinks that nobody could take the big bad guy on the, the big football player on the playground, right? No one can take him out. China, Russia, and North Korea and Iran, they think they do. They think they do if they align with each other, and they're not going to step away. Everybody thinks that everybody's so scared and they'll never do anything. That is not true. And look at Xi Jinping. Look how he's been embedded to the Constitution for limitless terms, because China sees himself as the new world leader, and you become a new world leader by going to world war, which we're in now.
Yeah, well, I love this country. I'm an American patriot, but they are the new world leader. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. This country is absolutely broken. It is divided. We are currently engaged in an ideological, soon-to-be physical civil war, right versus left, which is engineered, by the way, to divide the country, to weaken it, so these foreign superpowers can overtake us. You know, people ask questions, well, hey, you know, let's get rid of our ability to defend ourselves with the Second Amendment. Well, that's exactly what they want. So you brought up a good point about the nature of the warfare is unlike anything we have ever experienced. I mean, the bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima look like eggshells compared to what they have now. The facial recognition software that Jeff Bezos of Amazon, a billionaire, has been unloading to police departments in his neck of the woods is just touching the surface of tech through micro drones that can literally hunt you down. I mean, they already use these in the Middle East to hunt down terrorists in caves and these kinds of things and execute them straight on demand. We have no idea of the power and the technology that they're ready to deploy. Not to mention the threat of electromagnetic pulse bringing down the entire system. And I mean, could you imagine the hysteria of the general public if they couldn't post to Instagram for like 5 seconds? That would be a complete catastrophe in and of itself. You would have people jumping off bridges here in the United States.
Yeah, no, I would be an apocalypse. And, you know, people gotta have to look at what they're doing in China. You know what they're doing? They have re-education camps in China. They want to make sure that there's no traitors, that everybody is in line with the government. They have spies everywhere. They have basically a public campaign where they tell all of their people in there and make sure that you watch anybody who leaves the country and comes back, if they're spying or if they're working for the United States, because we're in the middle of the war. So they're absolutely conditioning their people as they've been doing. You know, China is overpopulated. Modern China has never been in a war, basically a big war like this. They can basically sacrifice a lot of their people, and they are in an economic trade war with us. Okay, they've been stealing a lot of our technology, copying it, but guess what? We've done the same thing back in the day. You know, so they're doing that because they see what's coming. You know, people have to wake up to that. And absolutely, here in this country, they never know until it hits the fan. Even with our economy, and I always said this, Chris, like, people ask us, why do you guys want to support a new financial system? Don't you love the central banking system in the United States? Why are you guys promoting blockchain? Why do you want a new economic model? Oh, we're $20 trillion in debt. Oh, it's just working so great for us.
Oh, and yeah. All this rampant inflation is just working out for all of us little people so well. I mean, these fake digital beast system fiat dollars printed from nothing, backed by nothing. I mean, it's working out so well. And by the way, we put out an amazing live webinar yesterday, which I put out to the general public outside. It was really cool what we did. And I've got a special promo, enter the code MEMORIAL and save huge. Put the link, put that promo code into the bitcoinrich.com checkout bag and see just how much you save. And it ends, by the way, after Memorial Day. So take action. Don't wait. Pretty much giving it away for free because I want to give you guys tools to build into the future outside of the current corrupt criminal financial banking system. And also so that you empower yourself, your family, and your friends to thrive. Not just in the new economy, but in the new world. We are dealing with more challenges today than we ever have in human history. And I'll repeat once again, the smartest people in the world know this. And this is why the smartest people in the world are prepared. It's why Peter Thiel and others and half of Silicon Valley are buying the crap out of New Zealand real estate. They really like it over there. I've actually never been there, but we should pay a visit soon. Maybe we'll take the whole crew. I should probably be looking at some land out there myself. Because it's a little bit of a new tech area, although they've only got one cable line that comes into New Zealand, because of course New Zealand's an island. I think that'll probably change in the future, but we have a lot of very wealthy elite relocating there in the event of a nuclear apocalypse and World War III breakdown, which, again, this is what the smartest people in the world will tell you. Don't take my word for it. Just follow the actions of billionaires like Peter Thiel and others, Kim.com and others, and half of Silicon Valley. I mean, these elitists, those at Twitter, for example, Jack Dorsey and the founder of, one of the founders and creators of Reddit, literally has, I'm not even joking, this is real, has a helicopter at the ready and a motorbike scooter, one of these that they can kind of like take out and ride straight to the copter at a moment's notice so that they can bail out of the San Francisco Bay Area, save themselves and their family while everyone else collapses into a pile of trash. This is no joke, folks. This is what these people are preparing for. And those that understand finance, economics especially, and of course history, have actually studied it, know that Rome has already collapsed. It's why the new financial system is blockchain. And that's where all the action is. And that's going to be the stabilizing force in the future. And those that participate will be rewarded greatly.
And hey, Christopher, you know, I want to bring up this subject. Watch what's going to occur. This happened kind of pre-World War II. There is going to be a country who we think is an ally who's not really our ally. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, I think China is secretly consolidating the entire Korean peninsula. You know, I think that we have certain allies. I think there's a lot of backdoor dealings going on. And when it really breaks out, and this happened in World War II, countries who we thought are with us aren't going to be with us because they know and they see what's coming, just like a lot of these people in this country, the billionaires, the millionaires, see what's coming in this country.
Well, I made this point, and sorry to interrupt, Chad. I'll let you continue in a moment, but I made this point of, Alex, just pull up a map. This is the exact point I made just within 48 hours. I said, basically, I know that the deal's fake and it's going to blow up because an actual peace deal is China's worst nightmare. So they're not going to allow that to happen. Reunification of North and South Korea would be the worst nightmare of China. They're not going to allow it to happen. I mean, North Korea borders China. That would mean that the United States would have another puppet, like the United States has puppets in the Middle East and installed leadership courtesy of U.S. intelligence agencies. So they strategically do this. We've seen the same thing in Ukraine. The United States goes in covertly, pretty obviously, goes in, overthrows rightful sovereign leaders. People like Viktor Yanukovych have to go bail to Russia. And then the mainstream media has the gall. It's hilarious. They blame Russia for what happened. It's literally like they just continue to lie and rewrite history in the present. I mean, we've seen this with the whitewashing of the internet just in the last decade. This is a total shutdown of free speech, by the way, guys. And the reason it's become more aggressive is because Donald Trump won the presidency. So they've got to demonize, they've got to shut down, they've got to censor, they've got to consolidate power. And that's why the war is on. The war is on. Talk about the biggest distraction. Once the bombs start flying off the shelf, so to speak, you won't have time to think. It'll put the people in a very malleable, panicked position, which is exactly what the agenda is and what the elites want. It's what I would do, honestly, if I was of evil nature. It would be my playbook and my game plan. And that's how you manipulate the American public and the global citizenry, is, again, demonize the enemy. We saw the same thing with innocent Japanese Americans during World War II that were treated like animals and thrown into concentration camps on our own soil. A little part of our history we never want to acknowledge. It's funny. It's how it just gets buried. Oh, no big deal. Let's forget about it. What a tragedy. What a travesty. And so, I sit not as a perfect man or anything like that, but as somebody who very much values liberty, freedom, the right to speak, free speech, our ability to defend ourselves. And, call me old school, but I appreciated the balls that America used to have. I appreciated people like my grandfather in a three-piece suit with his boys making shit happen, because that's who he was. Not a bunch of pansy babies, whiners, handout, give me something for free socialist weaklings, which makes up most of the American population today, which is, of course, what the elites want, because they've consolidated all the power, and it's all concentrated with just a handful of oligarchical interests. So, of course, they want to give you little people breadcrumbs, universal income, and you peasants, they'll throw some sand right in your eye.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Generation Snowflake. You know, it is really sad. It's like this. I mean, it's unbelievable. They have no idea what hardship is. And, you know, another thing is, look what they're doing with, see, they use not just the propaganda and the media, but they're going to use the economy against us. Like you see, the gas prices are going up, right? Like right after the Iran nuclear deal was tread up, like so obvious how, you know, they're manipulating the gas prices. They're going to condition us economically, say, okay, do whatever you got to do, go to war, bomb whoever you got to bomb, so my gas prices would come down. They did this, you know, during Bush's war on terror, okay, which again cost us about $5.6 trillion, probably more. Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand this. And who's going to fight for this country like they did in World War II? That's another thing. China, they're very patriotic. Russia, they're very patriotic. Everybody here hates this country, it seems. They're growing up to hate this country. Who is going to stand up and fight? Because you need people, you know.
Yeah, who's going to fight when the entire NFL is on their knees like a bunch of wimps on a regular basis, disrespecting our flag and these kinds of things? And by the way, the NFL, I don't follow any of this. I don't have TV. And I actually canceled my season tickets a couple of years ago and vowed never to watch another NFL game again. But I guess they just instituted a new rule where they're going to force all these babies to get up and stand. Otherwise, they've got to go hang out in the I don't know, the locker room or something by like a bunch of retards or something. I mean, how dare these people? Again, who's going to fight when you've got a bunch of kneelers? I mean, and that's half the country right there. A bunch of baby, weakling kneelers that desecrate all of our fallen soldiers and those that have made it possible so that we have the very little freedom that we still have. And again, I'm all for free speech. Go kneel all you want, you freaking babies, you losers. Kneel all you want. In fact, kiss the ground like a little baby. Dude, I'm all for it. Okay, I'm a big believer in free speech, but I still think you're a loser, which is my right and my free speech to say that. Loser.
You know, absolutely. You know, I want to read what Donald Trump wrote as far as a letter to Kim Jong-un. He says, I feel it is inappropriate at this time to have this long-planned meeting. Therefore, please let this letter serve to represent that the Singapore summit, for the good of both parties, but to the detriment of the world, will not take place. You talk about your nuclear capabilities, but ours are so massive and so powerful that I pray to God that they will never be used. That is a very interesting line. But he says at the end, if you change your mind having to do with this most important summit, please do not hesitate to call me. All right. So we're playing mediator because, again, this is what, you know, a little dark state agenda is. They play the mediator, play this game. We tried, okay? We tried for peace, but guess what? Our nuclear capabilities are so much more massive and powerful that we will wipe you out.
And Trump's got to look good. Look, dude, the dark state's got to look good as they open up this war. I mean, that's why we'll probably get a false flag and it'll look like a self-defense bombing. Oh, this happened, so this is why we nuked him. This is why we had to take out Kim Jong-un and just blow him off the map because, of course, the dark state is the victim. Okay, so remind yourself of that, guys. This is how they're going to position it. They're the victim. Right? Just like CNN is the victim, Hillary Rotten, scum of the earth Clinton is the victim. By the way, she looks like hell. I don't know if you've seen her lately. I can't believe she's still walking upright. She's got some kind of contraption holding onto her body as she continues to do head plants as she travels around the world and bickers in hysteria because she just can't get over the fact. Another loser who got her ass kicked in the 2016 election as Donald Trump literally rammed right over her face with a giant pickup truck and took this country back. And I am so proud of Donald Trump, and this man I love. I don't agree with everything that he does. I don't agree with everything that he says. yada, yada, yada. But this is a man that I support. I'm 100% behind. And honestly, it has been a boon to alternative media television and what we're doing. We have never seen so much success going against the grain and supporting our commander-in-chief. And I 100% back this guy. Who I do not 100% back is the deep state, the agenda of the financial elite. But you've really got to respect this man. And anybody that is ashamed of Donald Trump, our president, is an absolute loser and is honestly a waste to humanity and a waste to the general population, in my view. Again, you can have your opinion, and I never expect, my phone's ringing off the hook here too. People are calling me. They're probably tuning in right now. I don't expect you tuning in to agree with everything that I have to say. That's the point of my platform. That's the point of alternative media television. The point is that you think for yourself. Okay, that's why you should tune in. Not because you're always like, oh, I'm in 100% agreement with this guy. Half the time, I know a lot of you disagree with me. That's the point of what we do, so that you think for yourself. You see, this is what they don't want. Critical thinking. They do not want a free press. I found it very interesting, Chad. I don't know if you follow this, but Elon Musk went on a rant of his own recently. He's kind of having semi-meltdowns as well, where he suggested that he's irritated by the press and what they're saying about his company, Tesla. So he recommended that he's going to start some kind of new truth website that's going to rate journalists and news agencies and these kinds of things. I just kind of found it funny because I find him a very smart man. I would never bet against Elon Musk, by the way. I would never short any company that he was ever involved in because he's a total genius and an innovator. But I don't really know if he understands media that well. I mean, that's not really his expertise. And what people need to understand, take it from a media man, this is what I do professionally 100% of the time, in addition to my other businesses and ventures, etc. But all media is propaganda. All forms of media is a slant. All form of media is an angle and is an opinion. It always is. Yes, there's absolute truth, and I believe in absolute truth, and I'm not going to get into my religious beliefs today, but all media is manipulation. I've always said that what we do is media propaganda for the truth. See, we're on the side of the truth. That's why they want to shut it down. That's why when Donald Trump won, we've seen such an aggressive response from the Hillary Clinton cartel, etc. They've got to make sure. It's why Netflix just invested tens of millions of dollars into the Obamas, because the Obamas know it's more powerful to have a reality TV show on Netflix than it is to do anything else. Why do you think Donald Trump's president? And why do you think media companies like ours, organizations, have had such an impact? And that's why they've got to get rid of it. That's why they're demonizing, and they've got to make an example of other people. And it's really sad because, look, you're not allowed to think for yourself, folks. You're not allowed. But hey, by the way, continue to spend $8, $9, $10, $15 a month. Invest those hard-earned dollars into Netflix, of which George Soros owns a huge interest. I mean, talk about the beast. Talk about the beast system. You Christians out there have a Netflix subscription? You should be ashamed of yourself, right? Talk about evil. Talk about the devil. And now Susan Rice on the board of directors and the Obamas signing a deal with them. It's just funny how people bury their heads in the sand and are able to critique other things and then not look at their own actions and what they support. What a joke. And this is why David Letterman has his show. I can't believe I didn't even talk about this a couple of days ago, and his guests are all liberal, American-hating guests. It started with Obama, and he hates America. That's why he was the Manchurian Candidate, and he went out to destroy it. Right? He didn't like the way it was, so he wanted to change everything. It was about change, right? That means he hated the country the way that it currently was. And in addition to that, who was next? George Clooney, another CIA alleged, my opinion, I've got to say that, asset, him and Amal that work for the State Department and these kinds of things. I'll just say it's my opinion, because I'll just say that. My opinion, my right, my free speech. And then after that, who was it? It was another liberal. It just the agenda is so clear to see, Chad. I'm getting ahead of myself today. Feel free to jump in.
Oh, no, no, and you're right. And look, the mainstream media is an absolute cancer. It's not just propaganda, it's a cancer. There's no other president in U.S. history who's exposed this cancer like Donald Trump. And it's the left. Look, the left is creating a patriot revolution. They hate this country so much. They hate free speech, and they put so much trust into the deep state, dark state, and the mainstream media that we have to fight against this. They're aligned. There is no separation between the left, the mainstream media, these Netflix platforms. They are all combined into one to bring down this country. And I give Donald Trump so much respect for fighting back against this beast domestically in this country. 100%. And what do? They put spies in your campaign. The biggest scandal in U.S. history, having Obama and his goons in the FBI putting spies in his campaign to bring down a duly elected president because this criminal weekend at Bernie's puppet basically didn't win the election. Hillary Clinton, and everybody thought, oh, because it's the Kremlin. The left believes this to no extent that they think it is because of Russia that Donald Trump won. They still don't get it. They'll never get it. They still don't get it. And that's why Donald Trump, he's going to win again in 2020 as long as, he doesn't get removed from office, which we see what they're trying to do, the demonization. Look what the mainstream media does. Okay, so he had this supposed peace deal. A lot of the media were criticizing Donald Trump about it. Now he's going to pull out of the peace deal. So they're going to criticize him about this. They are only happy when Donald Trump starts to bomb things.
Yeah.
This is when they support him because the dark state owns the mainstream media and they tell them what to say, what to do, when to clap or when to start screaming.
Yeah, and in another prescient example of these Trump-hating, PC liberal scum trash, Morgan Freeman, another Trump hater, who always likes to portray himself as holier than thou, has now been accused by 8 women, 8, Ocho, of inappropriate behavior, molestation, harassment, and other shenanigans we can only imagine in the remote darkness of our worst imaginations. As it appears there's been an apology that says so sorry. Just another example of, this is my opinion, of these libtard scum, holier than thou trash, who in their free time bash the president and then molest innocent women. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. In fact, you should just share this video on that note today, just on that alone. I mean, again, they have the gall to bash our president on a regular basis. As they've been accused, this is an allegation, of their sweaty palm hands doing, this is the accusation of not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 8! 8! Are you freaking kidding me? Hollywood is a swamp of liberal trash. And I suggest we drain all of these people, flush the toilet down the drain, so to speak, in that sinkhole over at the White House, along with the rest of Washington, D.C., 90% of Congress, most of our senators, and, let's flush down the entire Wall Street institutional model as well. A very easy way to do that, by the way, is to join us at bitcoinrich.com and fight against the machine and help us build the new economic model. I've got a special going on through Memorial Day. Huge savings. Just enter promo code MEMORIAL and help us flush all these scum down the trash. Is again, they like to tell us and the general public how special they are on a regular basis, while at the same time they publicly fight off now in the public their own obvious demons that we always knew existed in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just, look, people need to join a new movement because look, Hollywood is evil. People feel this evil, okay, throughout the country. And look what they're doing. They're censoring everybody. So speaking of the censorship, make sure everybody, please thumb up this video, share it with as many people as you can, get it around. This is the only way we can break through this censorship wall. But just keep in mind about this. We have an opportunity to create a new platform that wasn't created and developed by these social media dictators. Blockchain. So we teach a lot about that in our courses. Go click the link below. Go to bitcoinrich.com and join it so you can learn about this is the future. People say, oh, we don't just think it's the future. We're going to make it the future, because we can't keep going on this wagon that ready one wheel fell off, the second wheel, the third wheel. Everybody's just staying on the wagon until it explodes. No, we are transitioning. This is a smart move. This is what you have to do. And you have to remember, they're shutting everybody down. They want one ideology. The leftist ideology is a minority, but when you watch the mainstream media, when you watch social media, they amplify it to make it think that everybody feels this way, when it's not the truth. Join this movement. You have to see what we see, then join the courses so you can understand that blockchain is what's going to cause us to move from this criminal, centralized, either economic model and centralized social media model to something where it's just, it's freedom. That's what it is. It's truth and it's freedom.
And I don't think I could have said it any better myself, Chad. Now, in summation, I mean, I kind of rest my case here today. And I don't really know what else to say. What I will tell you this in closing is what comes next is a major event. Okay, just like I told you, they were going to engineer this fake peace deal, which would eventually collapse on itself and blow up as it did today. What's coming next is a major, major event. As the United States prepares to strike this part of the world, whether or not they make it appear like it was a self-defense move, which is probably what they're going to do, which is why it worries me that a major, major event, God forbid, on our soil could happen very, very soon. Not a couple weeks from now, not a month from now, not a year from now, but literally today, tomorrow, or the next day. Because the gloves are off, and all you have to do is follow the mainstream media to understand that. If you don't take my word for it, just read their headlines today. And again, this is the truth of what's happening, and they've got to reset this thing. It's going to be a massive reset. It's why you guys want to be prepared. Please take action. Even if you don't buy it from us, go buy your food store somewhere else, but you should buy it from us because you should support us in what we do. Because we have no outside third-party interests or corporate sponsorships that help us do what we do. We've made it all happen ourselves through our own bootstrapping, the big guy upstairs, and, of course, our loyal audience tuning in. So as a reminder, we've got a 25% off fire sale on the 60-day food store. I've never done that before. It's a huge sale. That's our most popular item in our food storage inventory. So take advantage of that right now. It's going to sell out today. And then in addition to that, I've got 6 12-month food store, which you should minimum have, in my humble opinion, 6 or 12 months, if not more, several years worth of this stuff. I'm going to go out myself and buy more today. Free shipping on the 6 and 12 months. We also have a 30-day option if you're just getting started. You know, maybe you're in college or something and you just haven't done anything. Get the 30-day. Okay, that's better than nothing. Do something and get this video out. We'll, of course, keep you updated as soon as Donald Trump and the dark state attacks North Korea and, or God forbid, that false flag event comes to American soil. Chad, any last words?
No, I mean, just look, we love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. And again, like Christopher said, it's always good to be prepared and make sure you do things. And it also supports alternative media. Look, we provide essentials. We provide things that we think is very important that incorporates what we're talking about. And survival is one of them. Food storage is one of them. Get it anywhere, but get it from alternative media. Get it here. Click the link below because it supports us. Because we need also, I know capitalism, right, Chris? God forbid.
Oh, yeah, God forbid, right?
But we need to fight back. How else can you fight back? People expect, no. You can't have any form of capitalism or business aspect to your organization, even though we provide amazing products. That's how you fight back against the mainstream media. So if you're going to go to Target or you're going to go to Walmart, why would you do that when you could support alternative media and get it from us?
Yeah, 100%. And these are all things that I own, by the way. I mean, basically, when you go to the store, this is all the stuff I own. The solar generators, the food storage, the water filtration systems, all this stuff. It's just what I've done for myself is I've taken preparations over a decade now as I've been preaching to the choir, many of you tuning in, and I count every day as a blessing. Any time that I have, and again, I'm an optimist, guys. I hope for the best, but I also prepare for the worst, and I know what's coming. Along with the smartest people around the world, know that the reset is here, and there's just no other way around it. And I say somewhat facetiously and somewhat not. I've said this many times before. I expect no apologies when the bombs are dropped. And I expect no apologies after Bitcoin trades over 100,000. And I expect no apologies, just like today when I'm 100% correct that the deal was fake in North Korea and it would blow up. What I do expect is that you actually think for yourself and you prepare and you get the word out and you stand up for what's right in this country. And as we do here, as we embrace freedom and the very little liberty and free speech that we still have left before they attempt to silence all of us. And when that happens, there's really not much time left. God bless everybody. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me. I was very, very, very angry today, and I have every right to be. God bless. Thank you.